when I was first learning APIs and how to work with them, I went through some different lessons and training similar to what we just went through in the last 3 videos. And the thought that kept going through my head was, okay, that's great. I have all this really, really ugly response data. How can I actually use it? And so that's what I want to show you right here. I'm going to start off with a simpler case. I'm going to come back to our edutectional REST course and terminal and run this to see what we get. So that calls the API, and you can see it brings this in. It brings in some post hashes, which is good, but what happens, like let's pretend that this is a real life application. We're not going to print out a hash. We want access to this, or maybe we want to store it in a database. So how can we do that? So I'm going to comment this out and create an iterator right here. So I'm going to say edutectional underscore resty dot posts, because I want to call our posts method here. And if you remember, post brings us a hash, so I can just iterate right over it. And I'm going to call this post. So the iterator variable is going to be post. And now we have access to it. Now what happens if I just print out post right here? Let's see what this looks like. So if I run this again, you can see it prints out the exact same thing. So that's good. So everything's working. Now let's see what we can do to actually make this look pretty. So I'm going to say P, and then we're going to do some string interpolation. I'm going to say this is a title, similar to how we do it for a web application or something like that. And to do some string interpolation, I want access to this value. So I want access, if you're parsing a hash, if you remember back to our hash lessons, I can do post, because it's grabbing this hash object, and I want the title from post, and I have to pass a string to it. So right here, I call the hash post, or this version of it, and then I grab the title attribute. So that's what I want to start off. And before we go any further, let's test this out to make sure we don't have any syntax errors or anything like that. So run it again. And there you go. Look at that. It printed out both of the strings and it grabbed our title. This is exactly what we want. So that's really cool. So now let's keep it going. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a pipe, not for any programming reason, just to give us a separation. And now I want to print out a description. So I'll do that. And let's do some more string interpolation. So say post and pass in description. Don't let it autofill right there, because if you do a capital D, it's not going to recognize it. Okay, let's run it again. And there you go. Now you can see that we've successfully parsed the data. We brought in the title, we placed it inside here, and then we brought in the description and put it right here. So this is exactly how you would bring data in. And let's pretend this was a application, like a Rails application, and you wanted to do more than just show it on the screen, because you could put this right inside of your view and have it displayed exactly like it was coming from your app. But say you wanted to create a database record. So you wanted each one of these to be entered in the database. You could do this exact same thing we just did right here, and say that you have a post model, and you could call a create method on it that connects to the database, and then pass in the title and grab that post title. And then if you have a description attribute, you could come here and grab the parameters for description, and this would put this inside of your database and it would create those records. Obviously this isn't a Rails application, so that wouldn't work right here, but just wanted to show you that that is what you could do. You're not limited to simply displaying it. Because you brought this in via the API, you have access to do literally anything that you want with it. You can print it out on the screen, you can print it to the console, you can slide it into the database, you can treat it however you want. At this point, it's simply a hash. It's the same as if instead of creating a API up here. It's the same if we created a variable and put a hash inside of it, and then we can do anything we want with it there. So that's how we can treat the data attributes from an API as our own data in a Ruby application. So great job going through that section. There's some more advanced things in there, but if you have any questions, please let me know.